Thank you everyone for coming and for being a part of this. I'm really excited about today's work. It's incredible to be here with Sienna Browne and Julia Gray. Very expert artists, have done many shows and have exhibited in many very important places, including the Oceanside Museum of Art and several other renowned locations. Wonderful honor to have you guys here today. If we are lucky enough to live long enough, we've gone through stuff, a lot of hard stuff. And the most difficult moments of my life have become most important aspects of my life and have made me the person who I am. And of course, we always have a choice. And as we talk so much about it in many of the past artists' work, we have a choice, about how we handle these things, these hard, challenging events. We can sit and cry and give up, or, we learn from it and we pick up pieces and we go forward. I think that's just something that we can all relate to in life and in art. When we have hard things happen to us, we can pick up the pieces and make art with it. And there's artists in Japan. Joinery in Japanese work is not just a remedy, it is the art. And so that's something I want to talk about today. Golden joinery is the art. It isn't the remedy, it is the end goal in a way. So tell us some more about the process of making art, the process in this particular exhibit, and the things that you have encountered. Do you want to start?
I can if you'd like me to.
Sure.
Julia and I had an exhibit at the late end of last year and put both of these very feminine concepts together. The idea of a portal and the idea of a she torso. And when you put a portal with a she, it creates this whole new thing. From that exhibit, we decided, let's make a fountain together. We wanted to combine water and movement and light and activate the she in a new way. So we sat down in Julia's studio and we felt into it, and both of us simultaneously felt it had to do with cracking. The earth cracking, water breaking, some kind of the beauty in the breaking and allowing yourself to be in that state of vulnerability and insecurity. So we built this beautiful torso and we used artistic techniques to create the cracking. That came out beautifully. Then we made the base. That came out beautifully. Then we made the basin and that literally cracked. We're like, no, that's not what we meant. No.
Multiple times. So then this is the first basin. Then I made a second basin. And when you have a chance to look down here at the broken shards, you'll see some bisque fired, which is the creamy ones. That was the second basin. I thought I'm not going to even try to fix that one. So this is the third basin. And this cracked 4 times. Well, it cracked in the kiln and I repaired it 4 times and it was fired 4 more times and it continued to crack. So I thought, I'm not making another basin. I'm going to fix this thing. So persistence is my thing. And so then I used 2-part epoxy, fixed all the holes, filled it with water, thought it was holding, and then it started leaking. It's like, okay, I did it again, still leaking. So I finally ended up using resin on it twice. So out of this, we realized that and it actually all the way, when it started cracking and kept cracking, we come to understand that this was a conversation with the clay. We asked for cracking. Yeah. And the clay said, sure, we'll give you some cracking. So for me, because I was the one that was rebuilding these, and Sienna was at one point saying, we could just find a glass bowl. It's like, no, I'm gonna fix this. We're gonna fix this. So we did end up glazing this piece together. And then after I did the resin, we added more of the gold. A great deal of the gold on here is fired actual gold that goes into the kiln. It's a glaze luster. but then over the resin we added gold paint. But everything else that has gold on it is actually fired in the kiln.
There's this incredibly meditative beauty to this piece with the water trickling where we can meditate too. And also the paintings that are these incredible portals to other dimensions. The obvious, sacred geometry, which was explained to me by a couple of people that were very, an architect for one, and then another person who's very into it and very knowledgeable on this subject matter. And it is, it does come from these truths and from the beyond. So if you guys could tell us something about the meditative and beautiful aspects as far as, more detail about the portals themselves.
These 3 paintings in the back are portals, and how I see portals is, one, the physical technology of it is it's an object that you can gaze into the center and transcend. So it's an anchor that you can use in breath work and meditation. It also beams whatever the intention is into the space that it's held. So for instance, the one in the middle is the Flower of Life portal that has all of the Bija mantras, which are the monosyllabic mantras of all of the chakras. And when that is in the space, it re-architects the harmonic resonance because it is sacred geometry. The foundation of coherence in our world is sacred geometry. You look at a flower, you look at a piece of fruit, and there is perfection in the form. And so when you hang sacred geometry in your space, and especially when you are consciously working with it, you're creating harmonic resonance within your body and within the space.
Tell us about the fountain itself, or about this particular piece that is the centerpiece of this exhibit.
Once it was made and I was started making the cracked pieces that came out of that, I would have this running in the studio every time I'm in there. And it just, the sound was a gift that we did not expect because it's our first one and I didn't really understand about sound. But we got really lucky because the drips go in the holes in the basin and then it magnifies the sound back out and it just really fills the space. When I go into my space to create, I set sacred space and this sound helps it to continue the whole time I'm working.
And could you tell us a little something about that beautiful piece that was exhibited at the Oceanside Museum of Art?
So Oceanside Museum of Art accepted a proposal that I had for 20 women artists now. And it was a concept of women creating the work that they were doing now. It was, a concept about time. And it was accepted in 2019 for 2021. And we didn't know what was going to happen in 2020. And things started happening. And so instead of it being a concept, it truly embodied all the different experiences throughout 2020. And it took a year to build that. It is coil built. It's all clay. The images on the inside talk about COVID. They talk about the loneliness. They talk about the environment. They talk about the masks that I was seeing on the ocean, as I would walk. They talk about the election, the insurrection, and the paintings on the inside are all underglazes, which means that when I draw and paint them, they get fired in the kiln, and then they look completely different. And then I do a little more detail, and I fire it again. And that piece broke also. And I have to tell you, my work doesn't crack. It usually doesn't break. That piece broke multiple times during 2020. I have not had cracking for 5 years, and now this happened. So it's been a really interesting conversation with the work, the feelings existentially, and also internally. So I had to have the piece in here because it just seems like the conversation was included. And what I wrote about it, I had written in 2021 when it went into the museum. And I can see some of the reflection to what we've ended up talking about with the cracking that's happened with this piece. So, yeah.
Well, I love this piece. I'm wondering, would you normally set it like farther apart? Is it closer together because of the space here? Because there's so much inside. Like I want to get in there. Like,
So I have an argument with myself. I want everybody to see it, and then I want to hide it. So it ends up being about that far apart. But if somebody wanted to own it, they can set it further apart. I would come in and install it just as they want.
Who else has any questions?
I'd love to hear more about how this piece affected the other pieces in the series where it has the light coming through the crack.
Once we got to the concept of cracks let the light in, I knew that the sheaths needed to transform in that direction. And so I cast them and then just started carving the cracks through them, knowing that I'd want the light to come through. The first one, the top is open and some of the cracks don't quite show through. I also had been seeing images of earth cracking and then water welling underneath it, and that imagery stuck with me. So that's kind of what's inspired the cream, and then the other colors coming through the more opalescent. So I did 5 of those and a couple of small ones that didn't make it, but that's the goal.
Where do you guys see this piece?
I'd like to see it in a public space, whether it's a retreat or a hotel or a place that's open for people to come and sit with it and enjoy it. I'd love to see that. That's wonderful. Yeah.
I could also see it in home.
I will happily install it.
if the clay is communicating with you or had a message through fracking, what would that be?
When it happened, I was like, okay, for me, it was like, I am not giving up. Things are breaking around me. Crap is happening. I can do, I can control only what I can control. And if it keeps cracking, and maybe I'll get to the point where it will just be shards on the ground, but I'm going to keep going. And with that message, I started going to that place like, what am I trying? What else can come through me that also reaches a more positive for me and a better understanding? And I thought about the Cohen song, the anthem, Cracks Let the Light In. And it was like, oh, that's it right there. So that was kind of the message for me. Like every time, like Stephanie was talking about, when really difficult things happen, it's amazing the gifts that come from that, the growth that you have. So that really became part of the conversation that I felt in my own body. Yeah.
For me, what just came through is a specific teaching called Upon Far. May I pull it up and read it?
Yes.
Upon Far. A, for the apocalypse, the eye of God uncovering the secret, the prior union which was hidden. Pon, for the heat of total fusion, two becoming one, the one becoming the many, the inner becoming the outer moves inside, progresses, and becomes the seed of the new. Far, for the birth of a new world. The seed begins to radiate the nature of the awakened one, who becomes the consciousness of all that it touches.
I invite everybody to take a close but careful look at all of these and to sit with them and to look at the very specific line in all of the pieces, the paintings as well, very fine line, lots of hidden treasures within. And then the large piece over there, so much incredibly fine line, and that it has, the process, as we heard, is firing and refiring is incredible. The line is just another level. So please, everybody, take a very close but careful look at everything and sit with it. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for being here.